Yeah, good morning. We have one case for your consideration. It's PLT 2015-4. The case name is Blackstone Ranch, filing number 2. Chris LaRue will be handling the case as the case manager on this one.
Thank you. Like Todd said, this is Blackstone Ranch, filing number 2. And this is a request for a major subdivision. It's a preliminary plat for the development of 76 single-family homes on a property located in the R1C single-family zone district. Quick summary of previous request. In December of '04, the Planning Commission had denied a request for a comprehensive plan amendment, and the Board of County Commissioners ratified that decision on January of 2005. They had requested to reduce the required buffer yard from 200 feet to 0 feet adjacent to 26th Avenue in Strasburg. Then in March of '05, the Board of County Commissioners approved a case for rezoning of 108 acres from A3 to R1C single family, and then it was a preliminary plat for 234 lots on that property. And then in May of 2006, County Commissioners approved filing 1 of Blackstone Ranch, and that was to create 43 single-family lots, and filing 1 is presently fully constructed. Here's the site and the surrounding area. This is the East 26th Avenue alignment. Here's Strasburg Road. This is filing 1 of the Blackstone Ranch. Filing number 2 that we're hearing today is located approximately south of there. And this is the unincorporated town of Strasburg down here to the south. So it's located on the southwest corner of East 26th and Strasburg Road. The surrounding area has a mix of zonings with agricultural 3, agricultural 2 and 1. There's residential estate, planned unit development, and R1C single family. The proposed lots would be consistent with both our comprehensive plan and the Strasburg area plan, and both plans designate the subject site as residential, and that definitely supports single family home development consistent with what they're requesting. Excuse me, the preliminary plat was approved for filing 2 in March of '05. However, per section 221737 of our Adams County Development Standards and Regulations, preliminary plat approval lapses after 2 years unless a final plat submitted and approved. Therefore, the applicant needed to go through the preliminary plat process for the second filing of Blackstone Ranch. It's about 22 acres. Lot sizes range from 7,000 to almost 17,000 square feet in size, but they're all right around 7,000 square feet. Lot widths would meet the R1C zone district for 65 feet for internal lots, 70 feet for corner lots. Water and sewer would be provided by the Eastern Adams County Metro District. Colorado Division of Water Resources stated they'd previously approved the water supply plan from the previous case. It includes the subject site in a letter given to the county as part of their previous land use case from February of '05, and they stated that letter still approves the plan, so they're good on their water supply. Transportation Department indicated a drainage plan would be required. That would have to be reviewed and approved prior to submittal of the final plat. Traffic study was also requested to be completed. They've completed that study. That study had indicated the intersection of State Highway 36, 15th Avenue, and Wagner Street would operate at a level service of F or E for the northbound approach and southbound approach respectively, which includes background traffic and project traffic. It's expected to occur in 2017 and would cause the intersection to operate below industry standards. The Transportation Department was requiring the developer obtain required permits and install appropriate traffic signage or street improvements to maintain a level of service of D or better at that intersection. Obviously, we'll continue to work on any of these requirements. All of those things will be incorporated into the subdivision improvement agreement that would be processed concurrently with the final plat when that comes forward before the board. CDOT had concerns about possible impacts to the State Highway 36 with respect to roadway intersections. They have been provided a copy of the traffic study. They hadn't provided any comments, though I noticed in my email that this morning, just a few minutes ago, they did send over some comments, so we'll share those with the applicant and make sure we continue to coordinate with them and our transportation section to make sure we cover everything that we need to for the SIA. So overall, the proposal meets the intent of our comprehensive plans, both the area plan for Strasburg and the overall county plan. It complies with our requirements of the development standards and regulations. It's definitely compatible with surrounding area and filing 1. Planning Commission had considered this case on June 25th. They recommended unanimous approval. We did not have any citizen testimony at that hearing. And the applicant stated the proposed homes are estimated to sell between 275 to 350,000. House sizes would range from 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. So the applicant had expressed concerns with condition number 8. They wanted it known they would do their proportionate share of any CDOT requirements, but were concerned they might be asked to do more than they thought would be necessary. Staff reiterated it's important to ensure the applicant coordinates their project development with CDOT to ensure all requirements are met. And again, we'll continue to coordinate with CDOT Transportation to make sure that that is satisfied in the subdivision improvement agreement with the final plat. Here's the aerial, again showing 26th and Strasburg. Here's the filing number 2 location. There's a closer view. Here's the plat. These lighter lines are filing 1, and the darker lines then are filing 2 that we're hearing today for the preliminary plat. Here's some pictures in the area. This is looking south on Strasburg Road. This is the subject site over here to the west. Here's looking north. That's east from the site. I think that's Coyote Ridge. Here's the site facing southwest, looking down towards the town of Strasburg, but here's the undeveloped filing 2 area. That's looking directly west. That's northwest along the landscape buffer and looking into filing 1. Here's a picture of the entrance of filing 1 showing some of the product that's there. There's another view of it, so that'll look pretty similar to what filing 2 will look like when it's completed. So the Planning Commission and staff are recommending approval. That includes 8 findings, 10 conditions, and 1 note. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do we have questions for staff? No questions for staff?
I was going to wait for, I have a question about traffic, but I was going to wait till the applicant has a chance to say something.
So there being no questions for staff, would the applicant like to step forward and make a statement at this time? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rita Connerly on behalf of Paul's Development East, the applicant. I am with Fairfield and Woods at 1801 California, Suite 2600, Denver, Colorado 80202. The applicant has no objection to any of the conditions stated in the recommendation. We do have one comment, and that is, while not a condition, in paragraph 3 of the preliminary plat section on page 2, it indicates that the Transportation Department is requiring the developer to obtain required permits and install appropriate traffic signage and traffic improvements to maintain a level of service of D or better at State Highway 36th and Wagner Street intersection. The applicant will coordinate its efforts with CDOT and with Adams County in creating the subdivision improvement agreement to identify specifically those improvements that are required, but the applicant wanted to make a note on the record that the traffic report indicates that that intersection may not be currently operating at a level D, and so the applicant doesn't want to be responsible to cure past evils. It will certainly pay its proportionate share of the impact that these 76 homes will have to that intersection, but not to bring it up to a level that isn't currently operating at. And with that, that's all I have.
Well, thank you very much. Staff, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, so, I mean, we definitely echo with what Mrs. Connerly just stated. We will continue to work on coordinating any comments we have relative to the traffic study. I know CDOT had some concerns, but we'll continue to work on that. I know Greg LeBree's here if you want some comments related to that, but at this point, we're committed to continue to work with them on that. But depending on what the ultimate opinion is, we'll obviously there might be some back and forth relative to what we're requiring, but we're confident we'll have that worked out.
Understandable. Great. Mr. LeBree, would you like to step forward and make any comments on this?
Chris, you typically stated we will work with the applicant on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioners?
I have a question. So I'm hearing from both sides, we're going to continue to work on it, but I don't hear the resolution. And so my question is would it be better, are we going to continue this today?
No.
Or-
So the conditions as they've been drafted for you on this preliminary plat approval talk about creating a subdivision improvement agreement to go with the final plat. And so that's when we would have the resolution. So they'll draft a subdivision improvement agreement between now and when they submit the final plat, and that will define exactly which improvements are required and how much their proportionate share is, if any. And so that's how we come to the conclusion on that issue. So the conditions as they've been prepared, number 8 talks about coordinating any improvements with CDOT, and number 9 talks about submitting an approvable subdivision improvement agreement outlining the necessary public improvements. And so that's what the purpose of the preliminary plat stage is to gather all these issues so that we can craft a final SIA prior to final plat.
So the reason I ask is because one piece of feedback I've gotten from developers is that the way we do this preliminary plat and then we go back for a final plat almost gives the government 2 bites at the apple to start negotiating. And they sometimes feel, and I'm not putting words in the mouth of this particular developer, but they sometimes feel like we're having to deliberate twice instead of having a resolution to come back to, and only deliberate once. So when we come back at the final plat, is it safe to assume that hopefully by that time we'll have the resolution, or will we be asked to kind of settle the dispute?
No, I think we'll come to an agreement with the developer before we come to public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? No other questions. I think that it's important that we, recognize that we don't want you to be responsible for solving the issues that have already been in existence. And I think that's the reason we want to work things out and really kind of hold each other accountable for what we are responsible for. So I appreciate you bringing that forward. I appreciate you giving us that statement. And I appreciate staff for recognizing that that needs to be something that we talk about. So thank you very much. At this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment that has not signed up to make a comment? Seeing none. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we pass PLT 2015-0004. If you could put on the screen exactly what the, just to make sure I get this correct, we're going to, with the 8 findings of fact, 10 conditions and 1 note. There's no amendments, correct? We're okay with kicking the can down the road for the SIA, right?
That's correct. There are no amendments proposed.
Okay. I mean the development agreement. So that's my motion, is to approve that with 8 findings of fact, 10 conditions and 1 note.
Second.
Commissioner Odericio?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Pulaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes. Thank you very much. And I saw no can in the conditions at all, so I don't know where the can reference came from.
Kick the can. It's now official record.
Okay, seeing no further land use hearings, we are adjourned.